Bravo. This is absolutely beautiful what you did. Absolutely beautiful. You played with great character and with a fluidity that's very natural, and with a straightforwardness as well, which is it's hard for me, if I close my eyes, it's hard for me to detect whether your sound is that of an adult or that of, how old are you?
7.
A 7-year-old. Yeah, I cannot tell the difference. Yeah? You have an absolutely beautiful sound, very, very natural, very well defined. It's got character, it's got volume, it's got intensity, and so it's humbling. It's quite amazing what you're doing. So that's to start with. I may recognize that sometimes in our youthful excitement, let's say, it is possible that when you finish a phrase in fortissimo, like this, then you want to go on, instead of sometimes appreciating the pauses. This is something that comes a little bit with experience, but I think it's not going to be that far from you. You will soon realize, that music has also space in between the notes. And I think that's one of those places that you are surprising the audience with this cadence. The dominant seventh is so surprising that he places it so far up in the keyboard, right? It's shocking. And so it needs some time for us to realize the shock and realize, oh, what can we do after this, right? We can only go back to, in a very different character, from fortissimo immediately to piano. And so space out a little bit the important moments. This is the recapitulation, you know that, right? It's the beginning, you already know everything. At the beginning of the piece returns, and it closes off in a balanced way, the sonata. Other things that could be of interest, you are doing this, but you are giving a little bit too much to this note. Maybe you want to do the diminuendo. I agree that it shouldn't be, just because there is staccato, it should not be accented. And regardless of the position of a two-note slur, we learn that generally the second note is softer and shorter. And Haydn is quite precise about the shortness of the second note because he puts the staccato there, right? So even if it's an anacrusis, a pickup note, it still has to be T. Imagine there is a vibrato on the violin, T-rap, T-rap. No, kind of T-lo, T-lo, right? But I think you're maybe confusing this with an accent. So sometimes it's part of your straightforwardness when you play. You're very natural, and sometimes you can become a little more sensitive to these sort of things. Other things that I would mention may be the clarity in the Alberti bass. Sometimes bit too long, maybe. You know, to achieve a certain clarity. But let's put it into a context and we will see these things little by little. Try again. Not bad. Then, careful. Bravo, yes. Okay, now, then you have to decide maybe these staccatos. Of course, he doesn't write staccato, but an anacrusis, you know, a pickup note before the bar line, short, and before a slur, couple of notes. I think we need a little kick to this note, like. So we can see the difference between, as if he was playing by another instrument, almost like a. So if it's too similar, you hear. Instead of. See if you can pick just slightly with the finger, yes? Without making a parody out of it, you know, sometimes we can pick too quickly and it sounds choppy, right? Just a little. That's right. And then you see that these notes are very close to each other. They're a couple, right? Very close, a third. And as he wants the crescendo, that's interesting that he doesn't. He could have done. He would have modified the harmony, but he could have done this. But he chooses the sixth. It gets a little thicker, right? And it's made on purpose to increase the dynamic. So you can take advantage of. So. And I think this is another surprise. It's implying the dominant and its resolution. It seems like an and it is in a way. And then, surprise, the theme returns in a festive way, very happy, right? And of course it's happy and it's surrounded by friends. So instead of, now we have, and then, all of these, so it's festive moment at the castle. You can imagine, you know, everybody dressed up elegantly. And so there is a big change. This is subdued, a little bit solitary, quiet theme in the beginning. And then suddenly there is this beautiful, joyful explosion of happiness, right? Can you try one more time? Better crescendo, more precision in these notes. It's kind of nerve-wracking, this beginning, because sometimes one note could sound less. So make sure that the gesture that you do are very similar, like. Give a little. Can you feel like you are taking the key a little, like? Yes. Yeah. That's right. Careful. This one is not legato. It's a. Grow. Good. Maybe no need to. Well, I guess you are preparing the sforzandos, you know. That's not a bad idea, sure. Help your crescendo with the left hand. 3 different. 1, take the elevator to the 2nd floor, to the 3rd floor. Maybe hook yourself to the key with the thumb, like. Yeah, yes, too vertical. You go like, go more this way. From the right side of the key to the left side, like a T. You see that the moment you hook yourself to the key, you connect to the key, this relaxes, this has more tension. And as a result, you convert the weight of your muscles, your bone, everything, into weight there. So you convert that. Relaxation becomes more weight. Yeah, it doesn't need to have a kick from the finger because that creates an accent. More like B's has to be short, yes. Yes. So you basically leave the key faster. That's it. Yes. And you see the movement of the thumb. It's not from above. It's more an airplane landing from the opposite side of the keyboard, like this. Coming this way, you see, this way. That's still an accent. Can you make it less accented? Yes. Bravo. And it grows as this. Try. Surprise? Right. Paparam. 3. Then. Very good. This, very good. It's hard to explain whether these, they certainly aren't to be played like a full arpeggio, but they're separated arpeggios. So they're almost sounding together. Not so precisely, but the second one is the one that weakens instead. It should be similar. Because it's got only, it starts with 4, 4, 4 for the left hand. This is 4, 3, 3. So it's a little weaker, misses one note. So make sure you separate them. It's very clear. Padabam, padabam. Right. That's right. Imagine if it's too fast, you get, it loses the power of a right? Padabam, padabam, padabam. Right. Also the duration of these. Sometimes sometimes the tendency for arrival is to make it longer. Make sure it's more of a surprise. If it's equally short, there will be a pause. Again, this music is full of surprises, right? And there is a symphony by Haydn called The Surprise. So what happened? If I do, then I know already, but what? So give enough acoustic space after the pause to play your ornament. Otherwise, it comes too early. Try. Yeah, you do a lot of these, but I don't hear the fingers. I hear. Make sure you. Yes. So from close to the key, go up instead, like yes. Give a little, the first a little more, the second, tutor, right? See, the finger, the left hand fingers become a little bit quieter, but they also move more lazily when you play. So make sure. It's a little bit like a, I don't know, like it should sound like a naughty boy that took jam from the refrigerator and is eating it secretly, and looking around and not to get caught, like with more intensity. That's very beautiful. Before that, when you play, what's interesting about this music is, like in Mozart too, and other composers of that period, is when they mix the chromatic music to the diatonic music, in this case, the scale of C major. So this one is chromatic. And then it becomes diatonic. This one is diatonic. And it becomes chromatic. Sorry. So you have a. So I would say more energy to the chromaticism, right? Diminuendo. And the opposite for. These notes should be more sensitive. And then regular again. Can you try? It's very difficult to play in an expressive way with the left hand. Try one time with the right and play the material. Yes. Bravissimo. Fantastic. Now do that with the left. Yes. So you remember that when you do, you restart with the same tenderness of. And then you have all these microdynamics, we can call them, right? But it's not because we want to add, a different color. Like you take the Mona Lisa and you say, I don't like that color. I'm just going to put some orange near the lips of the in the face. Put some orange because I feel like it. No, it's the text that suggests more intensity, right? We're not just going to cover a painting or a text by somebody else. We try to find out how we can bring out something that's a little more interesting. So try this. Good. And sorry, because now when we take this out of context, sometimes we forget what the initial tempo was. So, therefore, there, try. And this, you're very good at remembering a lot of things about the dynamic, for example. I notice you're quite good at remembering. There is nothing more difficult than remembering precise dynamic indications by memory. We can remember the notes, but sometimes the dynamics are so fuzzy, so tricky to remember. You did a great job with that. The articulation, sometimes, yes, most of it, you get it right. And sometimes you forget that tiro, these are tiro, because many are similar, right? Tiro, instead it's a tira, pip, tiro, so tira, pip, good. And also remember it's contrapoint, so don't play by holding these two keys. The E is a quarter note, the G and B is a different part, and it's eighth notes, right? So T2, so tira, pipito, tiro, one more time, legato the first note, legato the first two, tiro, then a staccato. Practice slowly with me. Tira, pipito. Bravo. Yes, one more time. Tira. And remember to take the key, so tira, this. Gently pull, tira, tira. Bravo, yes. I wouldn't use the thumb. It's kind of usually it's a bit like Hulk. Boom, boom. You know that green man, Hulk? It's a bit heavy. Maybe I would use a the finger you use to ring the bell, if they still exist. This. Can you try? There you go. Yeah, it's much lighter. Good. Remember the then sometimes you can go straight from the ornament to the beat. Other times, to make it cuter, you can do. So, in fast motion. Did you hear the little space? Good. Now, the first note is the hardest. In the beginning, he makes it very easy for you. Second time, he makes it. The third time, makes it harder. So, that means you have 4 notes. Second time. Now he puts an extra note. So that G has to be a little lively and short. Yes, so practice this. Like there is a little mini man here jumping up, like a grasshopper or something like that. And then, yeah, so you have to achieve a good jump for. I actually don't know if I would use 3, 4, because then I have another 3 to play at very fast speed. That's much harder. I would use 2, 4, 3. Try this. You can bend the hand a little bit left, like this. So they're almost touching simultaneously, but you can. Yeah, if you take a little, and then, yes, so you take, and it's almost like an arch. You take this, and let go, and then you go. So, try that fingering, see if it works for you. Now you're kind of pressing the bell, like you're poking instead of taking. So it's a small movement that only goes here. The hand doesn't go backwards really, but yes. Take space. Yes. At least one of those before the do, mi, you can take a little space. And of course that works when this is light. And that makes it a bit cuter, you know. This is very straightforward. The other smiles. It does and the other, oh no, it's a beautiful day, smile. It's almost like two people on stage reciting, you know, in an opera. You know, there are often in opera these characters. One a bit serious, just like in life, you know, somebody is in a bad mood, and somebody is like a clown having fun. So that's the idea, a little bit, you know, this is an exaggeration, of course, but it makes the narrative more interesting, okay? So let's do again from ti, do. Remember? Ti, do. Don't get too heavy with the left hand when you do the crescendo. The bow gets heavy, 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 heavy. Instead of yes. Imagine the crescendo almost like Rossini, adding instruments. Okay, so you have and they're all making crescendo, but it's still very light. Each instrument playing very light. Okay, try. Give a little more on this. Good. This is fine, right? But legato, legato. So you can. Careful, careful, you play. It's not that. That's legato. This is a. It's so hard. Look, two hands make it easy. Look. Try for yourself. See if you can do this. Easy, right? That if we had a third hand coming on the side when needed, that would be lovely, right? And then maybe the other hand play. We don't have that, unfortunately. So, but we have to have three hands, sometimes more. So see if you can play a kind of cute staccato for. Yes, good. Remember that, right? So here. Right? Too long. Too long. So maybe put a kangaroo here instead of an elephant. Like. That's, you remember now. There you go. But you forgot the second one. That was pretty good. And then a legato. Good. There is a much better fingering, by the way, for these than 2-4-1-2. Because it assumes that the second finger has to pick up the key so fast. You could try 2-5-1-3. Yes, but it only works with the concept of relaxation and activity. Bravo. But relaxation from very close, so you don't get, you don't get too heavy on the key. Like, but it's definitely this. Imagine that you touch the key and you just relax the arm a little, you get this. And then a quick impulse. So, and you focus the concentration on the legato on the two upper notes. So, the second goes away. And the legato becomes apparent. Yes, exactly, right? Good. Make sure that the second note, though, it's not lazy, so the finger has to be quick. So it's short. Yes, try. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, right? Maybe I would recommend 1-5-2-4. By the way, do you see why Haydn is so picky in the writing? Wow. Do you see that he puts the slur over 5 notes here from the pickup notes, right? And here he doesn't. So he was perfectly capable of la ra 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 instead of pa pa ra 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 ra. So it really means that this one should be kicked a little. Now, again, like you do it with another hand, like so, and then this one instead is a either 2-5-1-3, or you can try 1-5-2-4, like good, without accents to start with. So go close to the key, and then yes, and use your wrist to do. Can you feel the end? Look at this. How nice. You can do this to your hand. You try that? Hold your hand, pick it up. Not just one finger, pick the whole hand up. And then drop only the hand and not the arm. So only this. I think we live in a virtual reality where I still hear the music playing, even if no one is playing. There is a replay going on, like a soccer game, right? Okay, so this is ending like this. You know, one of those machines, construction machine, that does a. So you're so relaxed and you're ready for what comes next to you, right? So, similarly, this is not, but is a, as if you were playing this. Sorry. Or, you see? It's like, that makes it different to me than, it makes it the same. This one instead is legato. Even more. Yes. Therefore, when you play this, don't relax your hand on your lap here, but go. So you only have one jump, that of the right hand. The left is waiting in the area, no? More legato. Give me a good. Bravo. Wow, that was Imagine there are two instruments. The cello does this with one ball, or maybe either way. But with one ball, and the bassoon does this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have bop, bop, that's what it is. Okay? Then, again, another party, like we did here. Now we have deep, deep. Don't exaggerate the octaves, but still very happy. Try. I think we need you make too much difference between the hands. I think both equally forte. You're making the beast, and this is the beauty. No, there are two beasts. Because then there will be a natural diminuendo as the music goes down. You see that the music has these beautiful figures. You are going towards the sun here. A little less close to the sun. Then now the cloud begins to descend. And again, right? So you're further down from the sun and, under the cloud. It gets maybe a little more cloudy, yeah? But so you open up when you, and that, and then you keep going down. That's why you need more right hand too. Very beautiful. Now, but with your wrist. And 2 and 3 safer. Very sensitive, because it should be this. Instead it does. Almost sounds like that, right? It's so weird, right? So show the weirdness. Wow, I trick you now. I could be maybe. I could have done that. Instead, he was classical composer. He had to go back to G major. And so, of course, this relates. It should have been that. Yeah, so it's almost like augmented fifth. Good. Now, another thing. You did that very beautifully. Let's take advantage of what Chopin taught his students, which was when we have a long note, we should play it out a little more. So all of these are short notes. We have, sometimes you play a little too long, this one. Only one is longer, is this one. So, then again, short, short, now long. Because otherwise we do, this guy, who can hear, instead, and these two. Okay, can you try? Remember this? And then those 3 notes. Try. From, now play from maybe here. G. Now this one, you do it so in tempo, like you show the downbeats. 1, 3, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. But Haydn wants to confuse you. That's why he doesn't write. He writes a. I'm making it up, but basically, try to show the first note of the group and diminuendo. Only here we know. That's the defining note that says the meter is. And we know where the meter is. But when he gets to that bar, you get a little confused, and I think that's the fun. If you accent the second note of the left hand, you tell us the meter. Instead of, which one is? Yes, so that you have to make more out of the arrival. These three notes, you can slow them. So that we know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Because this sonata starts with an absolutely clear meter. Tum, pum, pum, pi, tum, pum, pum, right? So we know where we are. But when it comes to this, you have a can you try? From and keep it up a little bit, like I told you here. You can play. Then you have time for. You take the elevator down. Can you feel that? Try. Careful legato, no legato. This can be cuter. It doesn't have to always be the same. Even if it's forte, there are different fortes, no? Sometimes, just like your heartbeat is different every 3, 4, 5 minutes sometimes. Your pressure changes, Not every day is equally sunny. The visibility is equally beautiful, but I don't know. It feels different on some days. Some days it's very bright, some days it's less bright. So this forte can be because if you had written an octave lower, right, it's very assertive, strong, right? And this one a little bit different character, so we can make a differentiation. Good. And then, if you like, each time it's cumulative. So second time. You see, and then finally, that's the So each forte being maybe a little higher. That's why he keeps repeating the word forte, piano, forte, piano. Are they all the same? Maybe not. And then you can put that. Can you try? No, non legato. You pedal. No pedal. Oh. This is really nothing else but this, Short. Try. Good. So if the first is a bit more, less, and second, maybe a little less. Pam, pim, pam. More, the most, little less. Then restart. More, and then less. Then more. So there is a lot of variety. Try. Som, pim. Crescendo, piano, 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 forte, 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 piano, piano, piano. Don't come too early. To make it more conclusive, after you give pam pim pam pa tim tim tam tim tam ta tim pim pam, tutti, everybody. So it takes a little time for the orchestra to play the tutti, you know. Pa ta tam tam pa, tika 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 tam. Wait, wait. Then we know, wow, that was really an end of some sort. And then, of course, immediate contrast with. Try. Don't give an accent to because you will get a diminuendo. Similar. Be careful. If you do this, sometimes this doesn't sound because your head is sounding backwards. Like if there is a keyboard here, I understand. You want to hit the G. Okay, don't do a big gesture. Try. Try. Go ahead. And here you forget one thing. That's why this music, initially, perhaps it was not at all intended to be played by memory in the time of Haydn, because there are certain details that are so hard to remember. For example, these two staccatos, quarter, but this time is not eighth, it's quarter. Yeah, because it's tender. Long, these are. Bravo. Maybe this is really the first fortissimo. You can go more, especially with the thumb. And then. And then it goes down, yeah? So give a little more with the going to this side of the hand, basically. So make sure your ear hears the C and the D. If you practice backwards, so you begin with the, yeah, you're so smart, good for you. Then, right? You put more weight on the thumb, try. Good. Imagine two people now. One that plays a and the other plays. You see, this is the same. It's always sol, la sol, la sol. This one, fa mi re do. Right? So try to show more mi, mi, less the la, sol, mi, as if you were doing two different voices. Try. Then they become one. They merge into one later. Can you try? Now merge, all the same. Now diminuendo. Good. And also, maybe notice that he could have could have continued, or he could have done. But he changes his mind and he goes, going up. So make me feel a little, oh, okay. And then you see, that's why he insists. He says, I changed my mind. Yes, I did. That's the confirmation, right? It's like to say, I changed my mind. He said, really? And he goes like, yeah, I told you. Okay, so it's something like speech, right? Try. Nice, nice. Also be careful in legato if you start doing this. Yes, I want you to spread the jam on your bread. What do you do? Like you go like something like this, a little. So try this. So you limit this, and you increase this. Bravo. Yeah. So good. But this time has no. It's a long note. So the A flat is even more important now. Do you feel the resolution? Then. Now here you see if you, with your eyes, you're lucky that you're still very young, meaning that you can actually see what's going on inside the piano, can't you? Yeah. Oh yeah, you can see the dampers going up. So how much going up? Just a little. Yes? So make sure they are very close to the string, but they're still up a little, right? Once you find that sweet spot with the pedal, by the way, this is between us. Don't go during the concert and go like, okay. It's just when you rehearse, you know, it's just for you to get used to that feeling. That. Yes. Now, put the full pedal down and see what happens. Bunch of elephants, all like walking together on stage. Instead, you're just making, I don't know, it's hard to describe this color, but it's so much more beautiful, yeah? So I think you can, for the time being, look and learn to, then you don't need to look, of course, but you learn to feel with your foot the heaviness of, you know, the pedal is actually pulling up all the dampers. So there is a certain heaviness, but it's kind of hard. Each piano is a little different, and also they don't come up at the same height, each of them. Sometimes in some pianos, it comes up, the bass comes up a little first, and then the others come up. So you think that you have done a good job because you're looking at that, and then on the other side of the piano it's not, it's still damped. And then you go like, oops, too much. So make sure you get used to the feeling of getting 1/3 of the pedal or whatever, little. So you don't want too much sound accumulation. Little more, a little more. Try again, hold it, a little more, that's it. Also careful with accent because they shout immediately. And then it's going to stay for a quarter of an hour, right? So you have to be so careful. Like that, very ghostly, okay? Work on that, and try one more time. Nice, how about that? It's a special sound. That's the best we can do because the piano of Haydn was obviously, you know, the keyboard was much lighter, smaller, a little bit, you know, the keys were a bit smaller. They went down maybe about half. The depth was very different, and they were super light in comparison to the modern keys. So these effects with the, you know, they were much better. They were designed for the original instrument. So when we play on the modern piano, we have to be extra careful. Even in Beethoven, there are some of these examples, okay? Good. We stop here, but the rest is also very good, and you will have a much longer open pedal. That's why it's so important that you get it right the first time, so you have the same feeling for the second time. Bravo. Beautiful playing. Thank you.